Hello, and today's live, I want to talk about the topic of slow weight loss after weight loss surgeries and all the different parts to, I suppose, that conversation, that phrase. So welcome everyone, welcome. So many times people have said to me or come to work with me or chats or messages, I am a slow loser and I am losing slower than other people. And I wanted to talk about that topic, and I also wanted to talk about how I approach slower weight loss or assessing if there's slower weight loss, and also what else you can do if you are losing slower, okay? So as with all my lives, please feel free to ask questions, make comments whenever you have them, and I will stop at certain points and actually check comments and questions, and we'll do that. Now, when I'm looking after somebody in their first year after weight loss surgery, I have certain, and many like surgeons will have this as well, and other dietitians, there are certain points in that first year that we kind of have roughly the percentage of excess body weight that we are aiming for people to be losing. Okay, roughly. So 3-month point, 6-month point, and we expect weight loss to slow down as you move further from surgery. So it's really, really normal. But we're wanting kind of roughly a certain amount of excess weight loss, percentage of excess weight loss, which I'm going to explain in a minute, to be lost roughly by 3 months, by 6 months, and then weight loss really does slow down. So I'd love to ask people that are on, before I get into it, anyone that's on, when I say percentage of excess weight loss, what I'm talking about. Have you heard that concept before, or that way of measurement before? It's something that surgeons do use. Sometimes I'll use BMI points, what people are dropping, but also it can be used, but often maybe it's not discussed as openly. So when you go in and you have an assessment and it was check up, you'll get a weight, they'll do your weight and there's calculations and things like that. And I always explained to my clients what I'm doing. So I'll explain what excess weight is and what obviously a percentage of excess weight. So essentially at surgery date, so you're going to people generally will know what their weight was on their surgery day. You get weighed in hospital, it's a significant number. People remember, you remember what your weight is on your surgery day. Any weight, for example, for your height, this is related to BMI, any weight that sits above, for your height on your surgery day, I would work out what your weight would need to be a body mass index of 25. Any weight that you are on surgery day above, for example, 70, if your BMI of 25 and you are, let's say 80, you need to be 80 to be 25. Any weight that sits above that is called excess weight. So if you're 120 kilograms, for example, you would have excess weight of 40 kilograms. So that's considered excess weight. And when you get measurements and go through and get looked at, you're assessed or checked up and do your weigh-ins, if that's something you've chosen to do, then that percentage, your weight loss that's coming down, that can be worked out as a percentage of that excess weight. So if you lost 50% of your excess weight, you're losing 20 kilos. If you lose 100%, you are losing 40 kilograms. So I hope that makes sense. I think I didn't do the best job of that today. So that is kind of introduction to the topic. Now I want to talk about the nuances or the variation with weight loss as you move over time, okay? So with that being said, I want to talk about there's so many things that can impact the pace of the speed of your weight loss and also how much you lose. And this is really important because I want my clients to really understand all those factors, because we want to stop comparing ourselves so much to other people. Let's get that out there. That can be a really big weight on people's shoulders when they feel they're not losing as fast as someone else, and that's their focus. Well, we actually don't want that as a focus. We want you to feel that this is your journey and you are doing things that you are doing and you're doing them the best you can and you're making the most of your tool that you have, okay? So there's factors that can affect speed of weight loss are medications, age. People that are older do seem to lose slower and often less weight overall. When people have more weight to lose in the beginning, that first period after weight loss, they will lose a lot more. And I've had people that have said, oh, I went through surgery with somebody at the same point with them, and they have lost this amount and I've only lost this amount. And when we dig into it, the other person had a lot more to lose. And what happens is when people have more to lose, around in adipose tissue in our body, fat tissue, there's fluid around it. So when people have more excess weight, in those early stages of their weight loss surgery, they will lose more because not only are they losing adipose tissue, but there's a lot of fluid that goes with it. So the scales will say greater numbers, okay? So someone's put 5 years in, 100 pounds lost, but have gained 30 pounds. About what can I do? Something different. Lovely topic, okay? Listen, I wanted to first talk about that it's normal to lose at different rates. I wanted to talk about there are different factors that can affect your pace of weight loss. Are there rough guidelines we want people to roughly go through? Yes, but we don't beat ourselves up if we're not there. We go, what's the opportunity to increase your weight loss? Keep it going for longer or speed it up, okay? Or restart it. So to get the most out of your surgery. So I talk about a concept, staying in your weight loss zone. And I've talked about this a little bit. And I wanted to talk about this today because it's really great and I think really empowering for people to know that as you progress further from surgery, people actually start doing or not doing things that inherently can slow down their weight loss. They can, yes, as the person said before, it can lead to weight regain, but it first starts off by slowing down weight loss. And I take this approach, I look at it this way: if people are slow, if people are if they're slow, or if they've stopped their weight loss, okay? So talk about your weight loss zone, and I've talked about this a little bit before. People can leave their weight loss zone if, one, they're not eating enough, they're under eating protein, and they're under eating. Because your body says, we are not eating enough protein every day, we're not eating enough, let's hold on to our adipose tissue, okay? So that's one segment, that's one area that people can be. And that can be for many people, but it's not the most popular space to be. The most popular space that people come to work with me, or when people are slower on the weight loss spectrum, they are overeating. And I mean by eating high carbs, overeating, they've stopped tracking their protein intake, they have stopped regular meals, and there's a whole cluster of behaviours that not only can lead to slower weight loss, but also lead to your weight regain, okay? So there's a whole cluster of those. And I wanted to kind of bring this, that there are so many things that I look at with people, with my clients, but also you can look at yourself if you want to look at more, if you feel like your weight loss is a bit slow. If you would like to know more, you can send me a DM with the number 10 in it. My podcast that came out today, I talk about how to stay in your weight loss zone, and I talk about it in great depth and really explain this concept that I've just talked about. And so if you DM me the number 10, you will get a direct link to that podcast that's out today. So I hope that's made sense. I'd love any questions. I'd love any thoughts that people maybe are thinking about or concerned about, okay? So yes, we do consider that there are factors that can mean you are losing slower that you have no control over. But there can be areas that people actually can improve, or things that you've stopped doing over time that you did in the beginning, that if you start doing them again, if you go back to keeping an eye on your protein intake, regular intake, and a whole range of those behaviours that I talk a lot about, you can speed up your weight loss, but also kickstart it if it's stopped, okay? So I hope that makes sense. And the person that put a comment earlier, SF Wazi, these habits, these behaviours, these things that I work with my clients on if they're in that early stage of weight loss, they're the same things that we work on when you're further down the track and that 5 years down the track. Are you eating regularly? It helps regulate your appetite. Are you eating adequate protein at each meal and snack? Have you started drinking more calories? Are you overeating so you're not listening to your body? A whole range of those behaviours that we would focus on, because they are what come back and kind of fall off over time, and that leads to weight regain. So the foundations hold true no matter where you are after your weight loss surgery. So I hope today was helpful to people. Please send me a DM with the number 10 and I'll send you a direct link to the podcast if you want to dive deeper into this topic. And when you're listening to things, obviously it's really taking the parts that resonate with you and see if you can apply them to your journey. And I really hope you get some value out of it. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Bye for now.